The automotive aftermarket comes to one place all together. It's the SEMA Show, the Las Vegas Convention Center, the latest in products to help you go fast and do it safely. We'll show you behind the scenes, maybe even a peek at a couple of vehicles. SEMA next on IDR.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, as we kick off the 2007 season for Inside Drag Racing. Of course, we always get it started at the SEMA Show, the biggest trade show for aftermarket specialty and racing equipment in the world. We're at the Las Vegas Convention Center. Hello, everyone. I'm Ted Jones, your host here on Inside Drag Racing for this special SEMA edition. And let's get things started with Michael Jonas from Stainless Steel Brakes. And Michael, this Mustang is outstanding. What is it, 2007?
The 2007 Mustang, and we've actually made it like the original 84 to 86 SVO. Everybody really loved that car, but you can't get them anymore. So we went back to Ford and said, hey guys, we'd like to see what a 2007 Mustang looked like dressed up like an SVO, and this is what you got.
Well, wait a minute, what about this hood scoop here?
Well, that hood scoop in there is actually a copy of an original 84 to 86 SVO, and that is a direct intake into the supercharged V6 motor.
Okay, but the air no longer comes in behind the headlight?
That's correct, yeah. The original supercharger, what Paxton has done is gone ahead and had a supercharger developed for the V6. So what we ended up doing is we weren't happy with the air intake or the horsepower output. So what we've done is we developed an air intake through the hood, which gives you cold air into there, improves the airflow by 30%, and boy, does this car fly now. Really makes a big difference.
I bet it's ready to hit the drag strip, and then it has to stop. Now, the original SVO had four-wheel disc brakes, right?
That's correct, yeah. What we've done here, we did the same premise on there. Wanted a 84 had some very new disc brake systems on there, and that's what we developed is an 8-piston caliper for the front. That's right, 8 pistons.
8 pistons.
8 pistons on there. You want maximum brake, 14-inch rotors, 8-piston calipers, and then 14-inch rotors in the rear with a 3-piston caliper with an emergency brake built into it. This has got maximum wow. We're 322 horse at the rear wheels. Car flies. We're able to take it on the track, pull a full G on there, and be able to stop this car in right around 100 feet from 60 miles an hour.
Wow, that is pretty incredible. That's the new thing you're calling the V8, right?
That's correct, yeah. It's a V8 caliper. Unfortunately, we don't have a V8 under the hood, but we get 25 miles to the gallon under a 6-cylinder, so we can pass lots of gas stations.
Is this car going to be for sale?
Eventually it will be. Unfortunately, you can't keep everything on it. I'd love to keep it in the stable, but there's other cars we want to build along the way. But this car here will be around for the next 18 months on there. You'll see it at a lot of track events on there. We're going to be taking it on the Power Tour and a number of other shows, so we'll have it around and like to get a chance to maybe get some people in there and take them for a ride.
Oh, what a ride that'll be. We'll let you know, by the way, where you can find out more information on this car or those new V8 brakes. At the end of the show, put the website up on the screen for you.
It's time now for the Race Report, an update on championship sportsman action from across the United States, and a look at some of the racers that are making headlines. This race report from the Pomona Raceway in Pomona, California, the site of the 47th Annual Winter Nationals. In Super Stock, it'll be Jody Lang against Jimmy DeFrank. DeFrank, the two-time world champion, takes on Northwest Division heavy hitter Jay Lang. Lang with a 1089 dial. DeFrank with an 896 dial. The reaction time, Lang with an 009. Jody Lang with a 1090 ET 009 reaction time. Dial in at 1089, wins the Super Stock category. Moving now to Super Cup in the near lane, Justine Jeffrey up against Tom Yancer. If Jeffrey wins, she'll be the 42nd woman to win a national event on the NHRA. Both of them an 890 index. Yancer's reaction time an 053. Justine's an 078. And the win to Tom Yancer, an 0930 with an 053 reaction time. A nice win there at the Winter Nationals. Next up, our top alcohol funny car, Jay Payne of the Valvoline Camaro against Sean Bellemere in the Camaro. A great weekend for Bellemere no matter what happens in the finals. Boy, they get real close to the time. A DQ for Bellemere. Crosses the center line. Jay Payne takes the win with a 577 at 249 miles per hour. Next up, the top alcohol dragster final finds Mark Niver up against Brandon Johnson. Niver won his first Division 7 race at Orange County International Raceway in 1983. Boy, look at this, a 540 for Johnson, 267 miles per hour to capture the win at the Winter Nationals.
All right, everybody knows the name Granatelli. If you know anything at all about racing, remember the old Indy 500 cars and Andy Granatelli with his nephew, J.R. Granatelli, with Granatelli Motorsports. And boy, you know, if your uncle would have had something like this thing's incredible, and anybody can put this on any car that's turbocharged?
Absolutely. This is designed to control anything forced induction, so turbos or centrifugal supercharged as well. And what the Big G allows you to do, it allows you to monitor the most important functions, and by doing so, we can now control injector control pressures and timing based on boost. So if a customer were to make too much boost, this would actually allow him to retard timing so he could keep the power level at a safe level without hurting the motor. And you know, when you're going 100 miles an hour and you're not paying attention, this does all the fixing for you. So
I like the over 100 miles an hour. That's pretty cool. What if it heats up? Let's say the exhaust gas temperature gets too hot.
Well, what the Big G allows you to do is if the exhaust gas temperature to exceed a predetermined temperature, it would automatically retard boost. It would take boost away from a boost controller, or it would also take away fuel. In the case of a diesel application, it would actually take away fuel, and by taking fuel away, it takes away heat, and heat, of course, would reduce the boost. That's how a turbo works on a diesel. In a gas application, like for a race car, what it would do, we would control that with timing. And by reducing timing, we would, of course, be able to control power.
Boy, this thing is really state-of-the-art. Now, you can actually increase the boost and the power sitting right in the passenger seat from behind the wheel.
Right behind the wheel. All you do is turn the knobs and set the buttons, and it will allow you to set transmission temperature. You can control transmission temperature, oil temperature from the engine, water temperature, boost, and most importantly, exhaust gas temperature.
Well, that's all the important things. These are some of the pickups you use right here?
Right, those are the pickups, and what the Big G is essentially, we also offer what was called the Mileage Miser, and the Mileage Miser is the gray version, and that's just more of an entry-level piece that allows you to control only EGT.
Boy, that's really neat and latest state-of-the-art thing. If you want to know more about it, I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll put up a website at the end of the show where you can get a hold of these guys, get one of these, put in your car.
Inside drag racing coverage of the SEMA show is brought to you by Summit Racing Equipment, the world's speed shop. By ARP, the world leader in racing fastener technology. And by Moroso Performance Products. Moroso, race proven.
Continuing our coverage here on Inside Drag Racing of the SEMA show, the biggest trade show of its kind in all the world. We'll check in with the people from Zex, because what's the easiest, cheapest, and most efficient horsepower you can get for the least amount of money? Nitrous oxide. Who's the leader? Zex. You've got a new Generation 3 system, Matt?
Yeah, Ted, for all the Gen 3 applications like your F-body Camaros, Corvettes, we've got a new high-output nitro system for these guys that is just incredible. Adjustable from 100 to 250 horsepower. It's got full automatic electronic activation off your TPS switch. It's an incredible kit. It makes a lot of power. It's easy to install. Ideal for street strip cars.
For guys like me, the easy to install part. Easy instructions come with it. About anybody can do it.
Oh, absolutely. You know, these kits generally will install in about 2 to 3 hours. It's real simple. And again, our idea is we want advanced technology that automatically controls the fuel for the nitrous, so it's never too rich, never too lean. Our special nozzle design does that. And the electronic activation works off your factory electronics, your throttle position sensor. Really works nice. It's clean, it's safe, and great for drag race type environments.
All right, now you said it's adjustable, like 150 to 250. How do you adjust it?
It's real simple. There's only 2 little jets. I mean, literally, you can make the tuning change in a matter of about a minute and a half. 2 little nuts, take them off, put 2 new jets in it. You've instantly gone from 100 to 200 horsepower, 250, whatever you want.
All right, we get everything we need here. Even got the arming activation switch, the tank, everything.
It's a complete kit. So basically, when you get a Zex Nitrous kit, every nut, every bolt, even tie straps come with this thing. Everything you need to install the kit, make it look clean, professional installation, and work at optimum for the racing use. It's perfect.
Okay, guys, there you are. We come and find you the latest thing here on Inside Drag Racing. I'll put up a website at the end of the show in case you want more information.
Thanks, Ted. If it rotates, you can balance it. Now, how important are camshaft and crankshaft applications in balancing? So very important. Mr. Randy Neal joins us from CWT Technologies, and you know, what do we got going on here?
Well, basically what we do is with crankshaft, we look at this in a 3-plane event. We look at the left side, the right side of the crank. We want to find the CG moment of that crankshaft. Ours is the only third plane balancer on the market today. And what we've done here, we have an example where this crankshaft is set up so that when we turn the screen, you'll see right over here, we turn to TDC. And under normal circumstances, we would sit there with a drill and try to correct right here on the rod pin. This particular application would be inappropriate, so what we have to do is add heavy metal. Now, by coming over to the screen and opening up a new toolbox, I can let the machine know exactly where the counterweight edge is by touching here and then rotating the crank and touching over here, and it'll give me a solution. You can see by putting a single slug in, we're very, very close. In fact, the yellow-green light is telling us exactly where the next spin will end up. Now, in doing this, a single slug will correct this, and no mental gymnastics on the way of the technician at all.
So really, it's all taken care of right there. You know exactly what to be able to do. Balance is important here. What about camshaft profiling and balancing?
Well, a crank and the camshaft are both spinning, but of course the camshaft is at a half-speed event. Now, a lot of people don't want to do anything there because it's hard to correct the cam, but they're missing a wonderful opportunity. A lot of the problems with the valve train, whether it's collapsing the springs or whatever happens, you're going to find a situation that is improved by eliminating these forces.
Thanks very much. Ted, as you can see, if it rotates, you can balance it, and that gives you improved performance.
You know, I've been rebuilding engines for over 50 years. And one of the most important things is when you get your engine ready to go, you want to make sure that it's right. Well, Sean from PRW Warehouse here has built a device that we had at our shop for years, homemade, but here's a nice universal one, very inexpensive. Tell us about it, Sean. This is definitely the way to go if you do engines in your shop and install them in the cars.
Absolutely. These days, space is at a premium, so we designed a stand that was meant to be folded and collapsed down with the fuel cell and the radiator still attached, so for easy storage. Plus, it's got 8-inch casters in the rear, 6-inch casters in front. You can wheel it up on a trailer, put it in the back of your truck, whatever you need to do to get your engine around. It starts at $11.99 at the full retail. It's powder coated, lasts a long time, nice and durable, and will adapt to most inline 6s and domestic V8s. We tried to make this as adaptable as possible to any domestic type engine. We've had some great success with it. We've got it in a number of schools nationwide, and we look forward to getting this out to all the jobbers across the United States.
You know, it's a device that any shop that builds engines and wants to make sure that that engine's right before it goes into the car needs one of these stands.
All right, back at the SEMA show here as we continue our inside drag racing coverage. Neat, high-performance stuff for your car. Well, the people from RHS, for you people that aren't too old, that used to stand for Racing Head Surface. Started out a long time ago, and then they brought the RHS brand back. What have you got for us here that's new?
Well, what we have here on display today is our new Gen 3 LS1 cylinder head. What we're really highlighting with the Comp Performance Group here is offering our cylinder heads in an assembled form. We offer several different packages using all the Comp Cam valve train components. We use a variety of applications depending on the camshaft that's being used, all the way from your conventional hydraulic roller to the new latest and greatest with the Beehive design valve springs.
Yeah, I see you have 3 different examples here in just one head.
Yep, and then we have a solid roller for your high-end hardcore race guy.
Okay, and back over here, I noticed a triangulation here.
Yeah, what we've done with this cylinder head is with today's engines, and there's a lot of power adders being used at nitrous, turbochargers, and what have you, is we've reinforced the deck surface of the cylinder head. The casting's a lot thicker, and then we use a triangulated design with the steel inserts just to add a lot more rigidity so that the head can withstand a high cylinder pressure.
Yeah, because even your parent company over there, your sister company, I should say, Zex, is coming out with some pretty high horsepower nitrous stuff.
Well, they certainly do, and that's the neat thing with the whole Comp Performance Group is the synergy of all the different brands and bringing the product lines together.
All right, and I notice right here you've got this raised.
Well, on an LS1 engine, it's really common in the aftermarket when you're using a shaft mount rocker system that you have to use a spacer so you can get adequate clearance for the valve train. What we've done is we've cast that right into the cylinder head. That way you don't have to use additional seals and potential leaks.
The NHRA Sportsman Spotlight with Bob Fry, featuring a closer look at NHRA sportsman drag racers and their racing activities at different drag strips across the nation. Brought to you by MSD Ignition, your complete ignition source.
US 19 Dragway is located in Albany, Georgia, right off of, well, US 19, hence the name. Now, this facility is a landmark in this part of the country, and rightfully so. This year marks 50 years of operation for this drag strip. John Baldwin's been the track operator here for the last 7 years, and John, you got a great facility here. Tell me a little bit about it.
We've been here 50 years, like you said, and we really concentrate on your grassroots racer. We're an 8th mile track, so we don't run any of the pro stuff, but we really like to see the guys come out and compete in the NHRA sportsman classes, pro, super pro, junior dragster, and that's really what we push. And then also, you know, on Sunday afternoons, we'll do our Fun Day Sunday grudge racing.
Now tell us about the activities you have going on here today. It's a little bit out of the usual.
Yeah, it is. Once a year we do what we call our Redneck Nationals, and it's diesel trucks that come here and race. And you got everything from the guy that goes to the dealer and buys a diesel truck and just does the bolt-on upgrades to these guys that's got 1,100 horsepower, turbos, and nitrous. So it's a lot of fun.
You had a very nice honor bestowed on you last year at the Division II Awards Banquet. Tell us about that.
Yeah, I did. I won the NHRA Division II Person of the Year, and that really, it's not just for me, it's for the track and my employees. We do a lot of work, and we try to help out in the community. We have some scholarships we give away at some of the local schools, and we also try to be involved in some of the charitable organizations.
It's nice to give back to the community, and I know the community supports this racetrack, especially the businesses. Budweiser's been very kind to you.
Budweiser's are a very good sponsor. They've been with us for years, and they help out in so many ways, not only here at the track, but also anything that the track's involved with in the community. Usually you can count on the guys at Bud to come in and help out.
Tell us about your normal weekly operation.
We run our regular Super Pro, Sportsman, Junior Dragster like NHRA does, and then maybe on Friday night we'll have a test and tune, and on Sunday we'll have like a test and tune grudge day, but really just concentrating on the local guys that are within a couple hours of us.
And I know your drivers take a lot of pride in representing US 19, especially at the bracket finals, where they always like to take on the guys from so-called big tracks.
That's exactly right. In the last 4 years, we've had 2 of the NHRA Division II Super Pro champions come right here from this track, so we're real proud of that.
So if you happen to be in this neck of the woods, stop on by. Bring your car, bring your truck, bring your diesel, bring your junior dragster. If you got a vehicle, they got a class for it at US 19 Dragway in Albany, Georgia.
The ARP Quarter Mile Quiz with Butch McCall offers you a chance to win a Quarter Mile Quiz sweatshirt while testing your knowledge of drag racing. Brought to you by ARP, the world leader in racing fastener technology.
Hey, Kenny, great question here for the Quarter Mile Quiz, isn't it?
Great question.
Okay, well, it was sent in to us by Steve Inger from Bronx, New York, and his question is, has any Pro Stock car ever used an automatic transmission? Are they even legal?
Good question. Thanks for writing in. And the answer to that is, I actually ran an automatic transmission back in the day. We're allowed to run 5 speeds, but it's not legal now and it's not allowed. I actually wish it was sometimes.
Well, would it make it a little easier going down the track?
Yeah, I wouldn't get yelled at for not shifting the car properly on time.
Well, and anytime you don't get yelled at, that's a good thing. Hey, thanks for the question, and we're going to be sending you a great-looking ARP Quarter Mile Quiz sweatshirt. For you folks at home, it's easy. Email or mail me a question. There's a lot of ARP sweatshirts waiting out there.
Inside Drag Racing is brought to you by Granatelli Motorsports, the mass airflow sensor experts. By the 4th Annual Summertime Country Music Festival and the Masters Auto Expo, June 21st through the 23rd at Moorhead, Kentucky. And by United Specialties, home of the trendsetters.
The Performance Tip. Professional tips on the latest performance technology available with NHRA Pro Stock champion Greg Anderson. Items featured on the Performance Tip are available from Summit Racing Equipment, the world speed shop.
Today's Summit Racing Equipment Performance Tip, we're going to center on the new Pro X line of Power Glide transmission at TCI. And Scott Miller from TCI is going to tell us some of the nuances and the new technology in this device. Tell me about it, Scott.
Well, what we've done is taken the old Power Glide from the 60s and early 70s and increased the horsepower capacity to where it'll handle 1,800, 2,000 plus horsepower by going with all aftermarket planetaries, drums, case, plump, everything from the input shaft to the output shaft is aftermarket. And they can be used in dragsters, like a top dragster application, outlaw applications for the 10.5-inch tire guys, ringless style input shafts, O-ring style aluminum pans, 10-clutch drums, setup, so you name it, straight cut gears, it's got it.
Sounds like an awesome piece, and I see it's an awesome looking piece with that new coating on it also.
Yes, it has our exclusive HDT coating that we use on our torque converters on it, which helps dissipate heat, and it gives it a nice look too.
Exciting new Power Glide, the Pro X line from TCI. For more information on this beast, check out the TCI website at the end of our show, or you can go to the Summit Racing catalog.
You know, if you're like me, you don't like the stock mufflers on your vehicles. But then again, when you're riding down the highway, you don't like that drone that comes in the cab. There's never been anything we could do about it. You either had to have one or the other. Not anymore. Over at Corsa, Jim Browning has come up with some new technology that is really exciting in the muffler world. Tell us about it, Jim.
Well, Don, what we do is we create by geometry, the condition to have a sound wave 180 degrees out of phase to the next pulse coming in. So when we have no restriction, we can take this noise, this low frequency sound out and eliminate that drone with no restriction. That's the essence of what Corsa Performance is about.
Now, is that going to make when we step down on the vehicle, is that going to make like a stock sound, or are we still going to be able to have a nice rumble out the back of the pipes?
Well, that's what's really neat about our thing is really your foot's the volume control. So when you light it up and start it up, you get that, the room, and then the more you put your foot in it, the louder the sound. But you expect that, and you're looking for that sound when you got your foot in it. But when you get out there and you're cruising 70 or 80 miles an hour like you guys do down in Florida, you can listen to your stereo and talk to your passenger in a car, and you're not going to hear anything. In a couple applications, people tell us we're actually quieter than what comes from the factory. An example, in the case of a new Mustang GT, that's the case. But if you listen to that, it's race car sound when you get into it.
I'll tell you, that's great. Sounds to me like you can have your cake and eat it too.
That brings to a close this edition of IDR. Join us next week. We'll come to you from the Museum of Drag Racing in Ocala, Florida, as we take a look at the history of our sport. For information on products featured on today's program, check out these websites. To obtain a copy of this program, log on to masterstv.com.